Another really great year of filmmaking has gone by, and it is now time to talk about my favorite movies of 2018. I have compiled a list of the 15 movies that I watched throughout the year of 2018 that I thought were outstanding, remarkable from what I know about filmmaking, which is not a lot, but I do have certain baggage appreciating film, and these are the movies that I consider to be the most remarkable. But also, really, this is a very subjective, personal, intimate list. These are the movies that, even if they were not maybe the best made movies of the year, even though some of them might be, these were the movies that really impacted me. These were the movies that I enjoyed and loved watching the most. Some of them I watched many, many times over at the theater because I just kept wanting to go back and see them again. So I do have some honorable mentions, a lot of them, because this was a great year and I was able to see a lot of really great films. So I will go through my honorable mentions and then my 15 best movies that I watched in 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before I start. These are movies that I watched in 2018, that they were released in 2018 here in Mexico City. Some of the movies that have been nominated for Golden Globes and that will possibly be nominated for Oscars have not been released here, have not come out here, so I haven't been able to watch them, but just keep that in mind. These are movies that I saw in 2018 because they were released this year in Mexico. So let's start with my honorable mentions. And first off, we have Hereditary. This was the creepiest movie that I saw in 2018, and it really creeped under my skin. Next up, we have Roma, probably the best made film that I saw in 2018. Faces, Places, a wonderful documentary about people and film and photography, and it's just a delightful movie. The Cake Maker, a very interesting and absolutely riveting drama. Alex Strangelove. This was one of my favorite Netflix picks of the year, and it was just charming and quirky and really delightful. Icarus, a fascinating documentary. Mary Poppins Returns. I had goosebumps from beginning to end. A Star is Born, really powerful, really loved it. I had never watched any of the previous ones, and I thought the direction and the acting were really, really great. Juliet Naked, which is a movie that I feel like nobody saw but me, which is perfect because I actually felt as though this movie had been made especially for me. I loved it. Lean on Pete. This movie destroyed me. It wrecked me. And my last honorable mention goes to Upgrade, which was so thrilling and it really surprised me. So those were my honorable mentions. Now let's go into my actual favorite 15 movies that I watched in 2018. As I said before, the following movies are outstanding and remarkable. Maybe they're not exactly the best movies that I watched in 2018. As I said, Roma by Alfonso Cuarón was clearly the best made film that I saw in 2018, but it was not one of my favorites. It did not create that relationship with me as much as these other 15 movies did. So these are 15 movies. They are not ranked. This is not a ranked list, except for the last one. The last one will be by far my favorite movie of the year. There was just one movie that when I saw it, I just knew that this was my favorite movie of this year and of many years. So there is a clear winner, and I will leave that at the very end. But the first 14 movies that I will quickly show you all have a similar level of wonder for me. They are equally great, and I enjoyed them for various different reasons. So let's get started. The Florida Project by Sean Baker. This was actually one of the first movies that I watched in 2018, and I am still thinking constantly about it. Mission Impossible Fallout. I went to watch this movie at the theater a couple of times. It was one of the most fun experiences that I had in 2018. I could not believe what I was witnessing before my very eyes. It was just incredible, the perfect action movie for me at least. Disobedience by Sebastián Lelio. This was an amazing movie about two women who are part of a very orthodox Jewish community in England, and it's just astonishing. The direction is impeccable and the performances are really great, and it is pure drama. Incredibles 2, another wonderful experience. I did not stop chuckling and laughing and smiling while I watched this movie. It was just perfect. It was joyful. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I don't even like superheroes in the first place. I think they are so boring and I never watch superhero movies. But I could not believe how great this movie was. I just sat there alone at the theater in complete awe and in complete wonder of what I was watching. This is spectacular. The Meyerowitz stories, new and selected by Noah Baumbach. This was just the perfect balance between really great comedy and really profound drama addressing family and various topics that I found so touching. It was one of my favorite 5 movies of the year, like one of the top 5 movies of the year. It's on Netflix. It is impressive. Annihilation by Alex Garland, adapted from the book by Jeff Vandermeer, which is a really great book, and it's one of those rare cases in which both the book and the movie are so different, but they're equally great in their own thing, doing their own thing separately. This movie was just unnerving and unsettling, and I found it so disturbing. It's exactly the kind of thing that my nightmares are made of. This is a movie that has given me nightmares throughout 2018. I thought it was absolutely terrifying. I know that some people don't think it's scary at all. I find this shit utterly mystifying and I loved it. It was a beautiful, unsettling, weird, different movie and I loved it. Love, Simon. This movie was everything. Even though it was very cheesy and corny and predictable and tropey at the end in certain things, I could easily forgive that. This movie made me laugh, it made me cry, it wrecked me emotionally, it made me chuckle. I was smiling all the way through. It was just such a true, heartfelt, and cool movie. It was just cool. A Fantastic Woman by Sebastián Lelio, the same guy who did Disobedience. He's the only filmmaker who appears twice in this list. This movie was better than Disobedience. I thought this movie was perfect. It was actually the winner of the Oscar for Best Foreign Picture. It was so perfect. It had some magical realism, which I thought suited the story beautifully and weirdly. And if you didn't see it, you have to see it. Loveless. This movie is horrible. It's completely tragic and sad and absolutely depressing. The characters in this movie are so horrible. They're horrible people, and it still is one of the best movies and one of my favorite movies of 2018. Searching. I thought this movie was absolutely fascinating, super immersive. I really enjoyed how they played with the technology. They used that gimmick to immerse the viewer, and I just felt completely baffled by how great it was and how into the story I was. It was just wonderful, really suspenseful, and I would watch this movie 1,000 times. I Love Dogs by Wes Anderson. Along with Roma, I thought this was the best made movie of 2018. It had me chuckling and laughing and crying and feeling every kind of emotion on the emotion spectrum. I thought this was a revelation. I just, yeah, this is a movie with a capital M. Paddington 2. This movie was so freaking perfect. I loved watching every minute of it. I thought it could not have been better. It, again, it was so charming and funny and delightful, but it also had such a big heart at its core. It was so heartfelt, heartwarming, heartbreaking. It was hilarious. It's a perfect movie for me. I could not believe that I was enjoying a kids movie so much, but yeah, it is absolutely hands down one of the best things that I saw in 2018. Museo, my favorite Mexican movie of the year. I thought this was so different, so weird. I know that a lot of people haven't really gotten on board with this, and I can definitely see why. However, I was completely entranced and transfixed by the filmmaking and the performances, everything that went into making this movie. I just sat there completely amazed at what I was watching on screen. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. It's beautifully filmed, beautifully put together. It's weird thematically. In every possible way, this movie blew me away. And I think if you are looking forward to watching a Mexican movie, watch this one. Those were the first 14 movies in this list, which, as I said before, are not ranked. And my number one movie of the year, the movie that by far surpassed any other movie and every other movie that I saw in 2018, was Muchos hijos, un mono y un castillo by Gustavo Salmerón. This is the best movie that I saw in 2018. It was the best experience and also the best movie that I watched in 2018. It is a 10 out of 10, flawless, perfect, impeccable. I want to marry this freaking movie. This is a Spanish documentary, as I said before. You can find it in English as Lots of Kids, a Monkey, and a Castle. It tells the real story of this family, the Salmerón family, but in particular, we follow the protagonist, who is this woman, Julita Salmerón, and she is the most wonderful character. Who is actually, it's incredible that she's an actual real life person. She's a real human being. She's the most wonderful character you will ever meet in your life. And we basically follow the story of her life. The movie is titled that way because, as she explains in the opening of the film, she had 3 dreams that she wanted to achieve in her life. The first one was to live in a castle, the second one was to have lots of kids, and the third one was to have a monkey. And throughout the film, we learn about how she realized those dreams and how they came true, and then we follow the downfall of her and her family. It's a riveting adventure, mystery, comedy, incredibly dramatic film. It's a perfect film. It's the perfect documentary, and it is absolutely hysterical. I never laughed so much in a movie theater this year as I did with this. So this is a movie that has literally everything, and you will find yourself uplifted, and you will feel like you believe in humanity because humanity can produce films such as this one. So that was my absolute favorite movie of the year by far. It was better than all the others combined. And yeah, those are my favorite movies of 2018. Let me know in the comments down below what were your favorite movies of 2018. I would love some recommendations. And that's it. I am Just One Reader. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.